and creating imaginative scenes, that should be telling you something. That should be telling you something as a parent, and it should be telling you something as a teacher. That these visual, spatial type children, there's something going on there. And I'll give you a little more of that as we, and here's, again, this is a hard one, but his reading skills, this boy's reading skills are very, very bad. And writing, this is word for word his writing. And if anybody wanted a sample of it, you could email me and I could send you the PowerPoint. It was too big a file to show it everybody. But it's like another language. It's the violin story is great. The violin story is from the TAT psychologist gang out there, and he wrote this himself. One day, a kid named, let me back up a second. The boy's looking at a violin in the picture. And it's not a happy scene. And I asked him to write a story about it. One day a kid named Bob broke his brother's violin. Now the spelling, so he broke his brother's violin. He stared, like going up the stairs, he stared at the violin for hours trying to think of a way to fix it. He used duct tape, D-U-C-K-E-D, I love that, duct tape. A hot glue gun and rubber bands. But he only made it worse, W-R-S-T, it's cute. He only made it worse. Eventually his brother found out, but he didn't care because he was going to stop laying it, he put that anyway. Lots of spelling, sentence structure, but you have a sense of a kid who's trying to be resourceful. So this kid has a lot of things going on for him. But writing is one of these things that's incredibly helpful. All right. I want to show you a couple pictures of, in a second, of a school and some other things going on with these kids like this. Here's the number one thing to do. Trust your judgments, Mom. Listen to yourselves. If something's going on, there probably is. I know that the kids are making you a little crazy. I get that. But try to find ways of partnering with the school. I think you have a very open school district here. It sounds like, the teachers are out in full force. And, they're really working hard. These are very hard jobs. I wasn't a very good teacher. That's one of the reasons I probably went into other parts of it. But parents, turn down the heat. There's a lot of yelling going on in the households these days. When was the last time a kid said, "Hey, Mom, thanks for yelling"? All right, I'll get my homework done. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Mom. And so try not to let the homework destroy the family too much, So yelling, turn it down. Watch for the kid's strength. Like I'm trying to give you a feel for. I really do believe in the 7 different intelligences. And I think most of you have heard of that and are differentiated instruction. And what we're talking about here in the Shutdown Learner are kids that are primarily spatial and visual. But try to really encourage the kid to be thinking this way. Like when a kid leaves my office, I go, you know what? Your reading brain, I don't know, you're working on it, you're okay. But boy, your Lego brain, wow. And the kid walks out, wow, I got a great Lego brain, wow. Hey, I don't have such a good reading brain, but my Lego brain's pretty good. That kind of thinking. Identify the cracks as early as possible. That's another takeaway point that you want to be, considering. These cracks are there early. Try to identify them. Here's a kid in this picture saying, "I just hate reading," that kind of thing. Parents and teachers. Sometimes I get too much mixed up tutoring. If you're going to work on forehand, work on forehand. If you're going to work on, get clear. Now, some people don't like this. Some teachers think we have to do, and I understand there's different philosophies of teaching reading. I get that. But I believe, and we can talk about this later on the panel, that you have to get clear on what it is that you're targeting. Especially if you're bringing a child for tutoring. If you're bringing a child for tutoring, you want to get kind of more bang for your buck. So, what is it that you're targeting? Teacher gang, and this is again where teachers get a little bit annoyed with me on this one. I coined a new phrase called WBD, worksheet burnout disorder. Many of our kids are suffering from worksheet burnout disorder. They come into my office with a stack of these sheets, and I'm like, watch the worksheets. I know they reinforce, I get that. But just this style kid, our left, you know, the dirt road kids that we're talking about, they struggle with these sheets, by and large. Because if companies have made them that they're not that kid-friendly, from my point of view. We could talk about this again, panel discussion, you can throw that in if you want. I go back to this, my image of working with a child in IS-7, PS-55, Staten Island. Yeah? I remember taking Alex for a walk with a soda because he was making my life miserable. Alex, what's going on with you? Let's take a walk. Now, how many of you remember your chemistry lesson from 7th grade? Not one. I don't remember one thing from chemistry. I probably don't remember much from 7th grade. I probably don't. But how many of you remember a teacher who may have taken you, done a little kindness for you, or been a little cool to you, or played you a song, or did something? How many of you remember that? We all do. What does that tell us? It tells us that it's the relational aspect of teaching. And gang, teachers, listen up. Because I think it's a scary time out there for teachers because of the belief that the internet is going to teach our children. It's the relationship that is the issue in teaching. Your encouragement, you're taking 5 minutes. Hey, come on, you look bad today. Why don't we play Uno during my lunch? I know you got unions, you don't play Uno. I get that. But you might want to go out and take a walk during lunch with a kid. I used to do that. I still take walks with kids. I mean, I'm doing that kind of thing all the time. Helen talks about it in the book. She talks about a cool teacher in middle school where Alex would go during